This special limited edition spot gloss slipcover, designed by Chris Barnes, is limited to 4,000 units. Degausser Video is a brand new label created by several of the devious minds behind VS, which will bring to Blu-ray deluxe editions of both canonical and underseen shot on video SOV genre cinema, in addition to work shot on film, but edited on tape, wherein the original film materials are believed to be lost or destroyed. Similar to Vinegar Syndrome's focus on film preservation, Degausser will work only from original analog tape materials with an emphasis on maintaining the aesthetics inherent to each respective video format. Additionally, each title released by Degausser will be made available in an ultra-limited new VHS edition, fitted in a custom-designed hard-shell lightbox. One of the most feared figures in all of history, the elusive Jack the Ripper prowled the streets of Whitechapel in London, England in the 1880s, murdering and eviscerating a number of women before disappearing back into the shadows. Until now. A century on from these gruesome crimes, a professor at a Midwestern college, teaching a course on famous crimes depicted on film, happens across an old ring at an antique store, which bears an uncanny resemblance to one believed to have been worn by Jack the Ripper himself. No sooner has the professor started wearing the ring than he finds his dreams assailed by visions of women being gruesomely disemboweled. When grisly real-life murders start taking place in the local area bearing the hallmarks of the murderer of Whitechapel, could it be that a Jack the Ripper copycat is on the loose, or is something even stranger afoot? The second horror feature to emerge from the collaboration between husband and wife directing/producing duo Christopher and Linda Lewis and executive producer Bill F. Blair's Tulsa, Oklahoma-based United Entertainment, The Ripper follows on from their 1985 shot-on-video slasher hit Blood Cult, ramping things up with gratuitous scenes of gloopy throat slashing and disembowelment, unexpected dance sequences, Coca-Cola product placement, and the addition of actor and special effects guru Tom Savini in the title role. Sourced from the highest quality tape master, Degausser Video is thrilled to unveil the home video reincarnation of this SOV classic, presented alongside an array of archival and new bonus features, including a revelatory interview with the Ripper himself, directed by Christopher Lewis.
Starring Tom Savini, Tom Schreier, Mona van Pernis, Wade Touwer, Andrea Adams.
1985/102 minutes/1.33:1/English 2.0 stereo. Additional info. Region-free Blu-ray. Newly transferred and restored from the best quality archival tape master. Presented with the following sound options. Original 2.0 stereo soundtrack. Brand new commentary track with producer Linda Lewis and author/film historian John Woolley, and an archival commentary track with director Christopher Lewis and composer Rod Slane. Tom Savini rips on the Ripper, 10 minutes. An interview with actor Tom Savini. Trading Out, 12 minutes. An interview with producer Linda Lewis. It's All an Act, 14 minutes. An interview with actress Andrea de Lesternye, formerly Andrea Adams. On a Knife Edge, 4 minutes. An interview with Bob Blair, VCI president and son of executive producer Bill F. Blair. Fire music video. Original trailer. Original video promo. Inside sleeve artwork. English SDH subtitles. The Instructor. The Instructor is part of our Vinegar Syndrome archive collection, celebrating forgotten cinematic oddities from the video store era. Unique to this line, each hand-numbered limited edition release will come fitted in a specially designed, bottom-loading VHS-inspired slipcase, while also including a double-sided poster. These releases will only be available on the website and at participating indie retailers. Absolutely no major retailers will be stocking them. This slipcase edition, designed by J.J. Harrison, is strictly limited to 5,000 units and may, but probably not, be followed by a standard edition in the future. The Instructor, played by real-life martial artist Bob Chaney, runs a local karate school where he spends his days training his students in the art of defense, including his best friend Thumper. Since discovering his wife dead under mysterious circumstances, the Instructor has vowed to only use his martial arts training for good in an attempt to overcome his desire for revenge. However, when a rival martial arts school run by the slimy Bud Hart begins engaging in crime and corruption, the Instructor finds himself struggling to contain his anger and is pushed to a breaking point when Hart sets his sights on the instructor's students. After Thumper is mercilessly beaten in a locker room during a martial arts tournament, the instructor can no longer suppress his anger and sets out to take revenge on his evil rival. A regionally shot action extravaganza, The Instructor was the only film made by director Don Bendel and lead actor Bob Chaney. In the vein of films such as Champagne and Bullets and Death Promise, The Instructor is a low-budget tour de force that will leave you absolutely stunned. One of the most requested Vinegar Syndrome archive titles of all time, we are proud to present The Instructor for the first time on Blu-ray, newly restored from the director's own personal print, and featuring some of the most jaw-dropping fight scenes ever filmed. This one is truly unlike anything you've ever seen before. Directed by Don Bendel. Starring Bob Chaney, Don Bendel, Steve Bergadine, Bob Saul. 1981. 94 minutes. English mono. Additional info. Region-free Blu-ray. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from a 35mm archival print. Commentary track with writer-director Don Bendel. A Journey to Akron. The Making of the Instructor, 25 minutes. An interview with writer-director Don Bendel. Booklet with an essay by film historian Richard Heldenfels. Reversible sleeve artwork. English SDH subtitles. Lifeline. Yao Sui is an arrogant firefighter working at a tight-knit Hong Kong fire station where he and his fellow firefighters believe their station is cursed due to the constant hardships they must face. Yao Sui struggles with trying to rise in the ranks of his department, and his skill as a leader becomes challenged when a new senior officer is transferred to their station. In the meantime, Yao Sui sparks a relationship with a troubled doctor, and he, like the rest of his fellow firefighters, struggles to maintain a balance between his personal and professional life. However, the drama comes to a head when a catastrophic 5-alarm fire in a chemical plant forces Yao Sui and the other firefighters to put aside their differences and work together in an attempt to break their station's curse. Lifeline, described by many as Hong Kong's answer to Backdraft, is masterfully directed by one of Hong Kong's most celebrated filmmakers, Johnny To, focusing heavily on the personal lives of the characters. The film succeeds by not only being a strong study of the hardships firefighters must endure, but by also delivering intense stunt-filled action sequences, culminating in a nearly 45-minute non-stop climactic fire sequence. Vinegar Syndrome Archive is proud to present Lifeline on 4K UHD for the first time, newly restored from the original camera negative, featuring beautifully photographed and pulse-pounding fire sequences unlike any you've seen before. Directed by Johnny To.
Starring Ching Van Lau, Alex Fong, Carman Lee, Ruby Wong, Raymond Oyin Wong.
1997. 110 minutes. Cantonese mono and stereo. Additional info. 2-disc set. 4K Ultra HD/Region A Blu-ray. 4K UHD presented in high dynamic range. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. Presented with the following sound options. Original Cantonese mono-theatrical soundtrack with newly translated English subtitles, Cantonese stereo home video remix soundtrack, Mandarin language dub soundtrack, and a commentary track with martial arts film expert Frank Zheng. Brand new interview with director Johnny To, 27 minutes. Brand new interview with special effects artist Chi Shui Tim, 10 minutes. Johnny To in the 1990s, a video essay by film historian Sam Deegan, 18 minutes. Archival making of documentary, 15 minutes. Archival interview with director Johnny To, 4 minutes. Archival interview with actress Ruby Wong, 3 minutes. Archival interview with actor Raymond Hoyin Wong, 2 minutes. Original trailer, 28-page booklet with an essay by film critic Sean Gilman. 16.5 by 22-inch double-sided full-color poster. Reversible sleeve artwork. Newly translated English subtitles. Criminally insane. In the annals of 1970s regional filmmaking, Nick Millard carved out a niche with his extremely low-budget, yet highly artistic horror and action movies. Presented here are his two seminal works, offered as a double feature, just as they originally screened in drive-ins and grindhouse across America. Ethel Jankowski has just been released from an asylum where her both violent and suicidal tendencies had kept her under medical supervision. Deemed cured, save for her severe weight problem, she moves in with her grandmother who, under doctor's orders, locks up the household's food supply to prevent Ethel from continuing to gorge herself. However, Ethel's raging appetite cannot be contained and, as visitors to the house begin discovering her growing stash of snacks, she has no choice but to violently kill them and hide their remains. A charmingly depraved proto-slasher anchored by a captivating performance from its larger-than-life star. Priscilla Alden, director Nick Millard's cult favorite. Criminally insane bursts with wild plot twists, regional charm, and plenty of gruesome kills. Mark Gray is reeling from the horrible news that his sister, Nina, has committed suicide. Searching for answers, he travels to the secluded, forest-surrounded town in which she lived. Unsettled by the frosty, almost ghost-like demeanor of the locals, Mark begins to suspect that there might be something more sinister behind his sister's death, only to discover that the town itself is a coven of vampires. With more than its fair share of bright red bloody kills, Nick Millard's sophomore horror feature, Satan's Black Wedding, is a tightly constructed and incredibly atmospheric regional vampire thriller skillfully crafted in the Italian Gothic tradition, despite its Northern California locales. Both Criminally Insane and Satan's Black Wedding have been meticulously restored in 4K from their long-lost 16mm camera reversal elements and are making their worldwide Blu-ray debut from Vinegar Syndrome, directed by Nick Millard. Starring Priscilla Alden, Michael Flood, Jane Lambert, George Buck Flower, Greg Braddock, Ray Miles, Lisa Milano. 1974. 124 minutes. Combined. English mono. Additional info. Region-free Blu-ray. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 16mm camera reversal. Criminally Insane is presented in its original 1.37:1 aspect ratio with the following sound options. Original English mono soundtrack, a brand new commentary track by film historians Millie DeCirico and Liz Purchell, and an archival commentary track with director Nick Millard and Ermi Millard moderated by 42nd Street Pete. Satan's Black Wedding is presented in its original 1.85:1 aspect ratio with the following sound options. Original English mono soundtrack, a brand new commentary track by Brian Albright, author of regional horror films, 1958 to 1990, and an archival commentary track with director Nick Millard and Ermi Millard moderated by 42nd Street Pete. Remains to be seen, 18 minutes. A featurette produced by the Vinegar Syndrome Film Archive on preserving the films of director Nick Millard. Right out of left field, 48 minutes. Author Stephen Thrower on Criminally Insane, Satan's Black Wedding, and the early filmography of Nick Millard. Archival video interview with writer, director Nick Millard on Criminally Insane, 7 minutes. Archival featurette with writer, director Nick Millard and actress Priscilla Alden on Criminally Insane, 10 minutes. Archival video interview with writer, director Nick Millard on Satan's Black Wedding, 5 minutes. Original trailers for both films. Inside sleeve artwork. English SDH subtitles. Invasion USA. Matt Hunter thought he had put his fighting days behind him when he retired from the CIA, preferring to live in the serene solitude of the Florida Everglades. But when notorious Soviet terrorist Mikhail Rostov decides to exact revenge against Matt, this one-man army has no choice but to dust off his martial arts skills and face off, Uzis in hand, against his deadliest enemy. However, as Matt tries to remain one step ahead, the insidiously evil Rostov begins deploying bands of guerrilla fighters across the state to terrorize innocent civilians and force Matt out into the open and compel him to face off for one final, bloody showdown. An action tour de force from director Joseph Zito and one of the key films in helping establish Chuck Norris as an action superstar. Invasion USA was also one of the first true blockbusters from 80s genre film legends Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus Cannon Films. Co-starring Richard Lynch, Melissa Prophet, and Billy Drago, this epic feat of non-stop stunt work and incredible action set pieces comes to 4K UHD from Vinegar Syndrome, newly restored for this release from its 35mm original camera negative and ready for retribution with a staggering supply of new and archival bonus materials. Directed by Joseph Zito. Starring Chuck Norris, Richard Lynch, Melissa Prophet, Billy Drago, Alexander Zale, Alex Colon, Eddie Jones, Martin Shakar. 1986. 107 minutes. English 5.1 surround plus 2.0 stereo. Additional info. 2-disc set. 4K Ultra HD/Region A Blu-ray. 4K UHD presented in high dynamic range. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. Presented with the following sound options. 5.1 surround mix, 2.0 stereo mix, brand new commentary track with director Joseph Zito, brand new commentary track with Austin Trunick, author of the Canon Film Guide, and an archival commentary track with director Joseph Zito and Michael Felsher. Operation Invasion USA, 31 minutes. An interview with director Joseph Zito. Writing the Real Thing, 23 minutes. An interview with screenwriter James Bruner. The Stories We're Telling, 22 minutes. An interview with editor Dan Lowenthal. Heroic Moments, 16 minutes. An interview with composer Jay Chataway. It's in the Eyes, 14 minutes. An interview with actress Melissa Prophet. Do You Like Talking? 7 minutes. An interview with actor James Pax. Canon Carnage, 18 minutes. An archival featurette on the makeup effects of Invasion USA. Loose Cannons, 29 minutes. An archival interview with screenwriter James Bruner. Original trailer. Reversible sleeve artwork. English SDH subtitles.